When students get the right answer, it's easy to assume that they understand. But the answer alone doesn't tell you whether or not they understand the relationships occurring in the story. In this next video, I'll show you why observing students modeling the story gives you far more information than when you just check the answers after the fact. I'm Julie Russo, creator of Structures of Equality, where we're making sense of math stories. Stay tuned.
The story says, Carlos put 6/8 pound of birdseed into a feeder. The next day there was 4/8 pound of birdseed left. How much food did the birds eat? You can see on your screen we have two pictures of two different students' work. One says 2/8 left in the bird feeder. The other says the birds ate 2/8 of birdseed. So 2/8 is in fact the correct answer when you're looking at the problem. But let's dig deeper and look at their work. So you can see we have two samples, work samples on your screen, and both of them again had the correct answer, 2/8, but the student's visual on the left says 8/8 is the whole, and the two parts are 6/8 and 2/8. So you can tell immediately that the student misunderstood the representation and the relationships occurring in that story. The student's work on the right shows that 6/8 is in fact the total number of, the total amount of bird seed that was in the feeder. And the unit that we're talking about here is actually pounds. The students left off that unit on their drawings. So that's another feedback that I would give the students, particularly in this particular problem. But you can see how the model reveals whether or not the student understood the relationships that are occurring in that story. If we just looked at the answer, we would assume that both students understood what was happening in that story. Another situation that might occur is you might have students that give you that present the wrong answer to the problem, but are showing some real productive thinking. So this story says Amy had a full bottle of water before she left for school. She drank 1/8 while she was walking to school, 5/8 at basketball practice, and then 1/8 on her way home. How much water did she have when she returned home? So the visual you see there on your screen shows a really structured parts equal total structure of equality with the total in 3 parts. This story actually has 4 parts in it. So this example shows the wrong answer that she applied as 2/8. However, she did have some really productive thinking happening with her work. So observing students' work really helps us understand whether or not they understand the relationships occurring in the story, where an answer alone just simply doesn't do that. So remember, watching students draw these models while they're doing their work, while they're solving, will give you so much insight into what they're thinking and what's inside their brain, where an answer alone just can't do that. If you want to learn more about how models support thinking, Chapter 4 of my book, Seeing is Understanding, goes into deep detail about that, and you can find more information about my book linked below. Have a great day.